We would like to start press conference by Minister IWAYA. I hand over to you. Thank you for coming. At the outset, I have one thing to report to you. Today, 28th, from 28th through March 5th, the Foreign Minister of Mongolia, Foreign Minister Bato Tsetseg, will be coming to Japan as guest of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I myself will be meeting with him on the 4th of March, Foreign Minister meetings and also working dinner. Mongolia is a very important partner for Japan, sharing the traditional values, fundamental values such as freedom, democracy, and rule of law, and it is an important, special, and strategic partner for peace and prosperity. I would like to further strengthen our bilateral relationship and cooperation, and also cooperation toward the solution of global issues. And I would like to have an in-depth discussion for that purpose. If you have a question, please come to the microphone and please identify yourself and your affiliation. Yomiuri Shimbun, Uemura-san. Uemura, Yomiuri. Thank you. The other day, there was a G7 video summit meeting, and the joint statement has not been released yet. What is the progress of the joint statement issuance?
Concerning the G7 summit joint statement, the situation continues to change. And the G7 leaders, what kind of timing, what kind of message should be issued? Concerning the appropriateness of that, there has been coordination, and within that, at this point in time until now, the joint statement has not yet been issued. That is the current situation. Now, as Japan, we will continue to collaborate with G7 and other international society countries to realize the fair and perpetual peace in the Ukraine. Next question, please. Sakaguchi-san, please. Sakaguchi from Kyoto Press. In South Africa, the G20 meeting, the finance minister and central bank governors meeting closed yesterday. There's a heightened risk of the resumption of U.S.-China trade friction. And Minister IWAYA, you participated in the foreign ministers meeting as well. And you are not able to adopt a joint statement that demonstrates the result of international collaborations. So we believe that in the G20, maybe multilateralism framework has become a more mere formality. So within that, what is Japan to do?
Regarding the outcome of the G20 finance ministers and central bankers meeting, I would like to refrain from making a comment. That said, with regard to G20 foreign ministers meeting, which was held in Johannesburg last week, which I participated, there was no plan from the beginning of issuing outcome documents. And G20 consists of advanced countries as well as key emerging countries as members. And the total of these countries' GDP account for more than 80% of the global GDP. Therefore, the importance of this gathering is becoming more and more important. In order to solve various issues that the international community faces, we would like to lead the resolution of these issues in such a way that all countries share a responsibility. Therefore, Japan will going to make a active role by utilizing multilateral framework, including G20 and others. I think it is a time of truth now. We have to work very hard now, and be it G7 or G20. Of course, we cannot make a consensus in one go, perhaps. However, by accumulating a series of dialogues, I think we'll be able to form a solidarity and consensus within the international community, which is very important, and we would like to play an active role in that process. Next question, please. NHK Yonezu-san. NHK Yonezu. With regard to Ukraine, I have a question. President Trump, on the 28th local time, said that President Zelensky will come into the United States in order to sign the mineral resource deal. And wobbling relationship between the two leaders, and also the security guarantee sought after by Ukraine, what kind of outcome will come in this regard? And I would like to see your expectations from this meeting.
Now, the relationship may appear to be awkward at sometimes, but on the other hand, the president has amended his words, and President Zelensky has said that they were able to have good dialogue. So, in any case, it is the situation is extremely fluid as of now, and we are trying to gather information. We have a high level of interest, and we are focusing on this situation. And therefore, concerning the specifics, as the Japanese government, I think it is premature to come up with our stance on this. So, as Japan, together with our allies, the United States, and not only that, inclusive of Europe, we believe that the diplomatic efforts by each of the countries, based on the solidarity of international society, we believe that as a result of that long-standing, the war in the Ukraine will end, and as I have been repeating myself, as quickly as possible, fair and perpetual peace, we hope will be realized in the Ukraines, and that is extremely important. So we will continue to collaborate with the international society. Next question, please, from Nikkei, Baba-san. Baba from Nikkei. This is concerning the U.S. tariffs. The Trump administration has said that the additional tariffs on steel and aluminum products will be issued on March 12th. And the emitting minister is expressing interest to go to the United States and have exchange of views. So you, as minister, what kind of policy will you take concerning the United States and their policy?
The U.S. Imposition of tariffs on steel and aluminum products and the announcement thereof, of course, I am aware of that. To the U.S. government, we have been requesting that Japan to be excluded from this imposition of tariff. And I myself had discussion with Secretary of State Mr. Rubio in the Munich Security Conference and asked for the exemption. And we would like to continue to thoroughly study the content of these measures and also impact thereof onto Japan. Earlier, Prime Minister Ishiba and Minister Muto said in the Diet meeting earlier, and that if the Diet gives the approval to Minister Muto to go to the United States. He wants to go to the States soon, and now the coordination is underway. For details, please ask the METI. Sankei Hayakawa-san. Harakawa Sankei, thank you. The Thai government detained more than 40 Uyghurs who have been deported back to China. I have a question on this. These Uyghur people have fled China's oppression and entered Thailand, and they were detained in Thailand, and some of them have been deported to China. And the Thai Prime Minister will be coming to China, and as a result, this deportation might have took place. And also, I think you also received a request from the cross-party parliamentarian-friendly league, and based on this parliamentary league's request, what would you like to do to address this issue? For instance, just like the U.S. government, are you going to criticize Thai government, or are you going to reach out to Chinese government? So what you have been doing in the past, and what are you going to do now?
So concerning the report that you have just mentioned, I am aware of that. Concerning Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, there has been many reports until now saying that has been serious human rights violations. There have been many such reports. So we, Japan, have serious concerns about the human rights situation in this autonomous region. Based on this, to the Thai government, we have repeatedly communicated Japan's concerns. Even despite that, the Thai government has deported the Uyghurs to China, which is extremely regrettable. So I would like to refrain from mentioning individual diplomatic communications, but as I have been saying to the Thai government, we have been repeatedly communicating our concerns. And as Japan, in the international society, there are universal values of freedom, basic human rights, and the rule of law. And we believe that it is very important for these to be guaranteed in China as well. So inclusive of this kind of stance concerning the human rights situation in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, at various levels we have been approaching the Chinese government at various levels, and we will continue these efforts. Next question, please. Takahashi-san, freelance. Takahashi, I'm freelance. Concerning U.S. aid closure, the impact on our country, I would have a question on that. So U.S. Trump administration has said that U.S. aid will be closed. And what will be the impact on Japan? Especially in terms of global health, the MOFA in September of last year has signed an MOC to collaborate with U.S. So I think there are wordings like cooperation in global health between U.S. and Japan. So are these going to be invalid? How about the pandemic convention and USC Knowledge Hub establishment in Japan? What will happen to those? And from U.S. aid, Global Health and Human Securities Committee, as well as JCIE, which is the secretariat, is there any fact that their funding has outflown there?
The point you just referred to in relation to the closure of the USAID, please go back to your seat. That for 90 days, USAID is to be suspended from operation, and currently the U.S. government is in the process of assessing the consistency between the foreign aid and foreign policy. That is my understanding. Therefore, how USAID will evolve, and also how it will affect Japan's assistance activities. At this point in time, I would like to refrain from making a comment and making a too hasty a conclusion at this point in time. As far as Japan is concerned, regarding development cooperation with the United States, in addition to bilateral dialogue, we also have a multilateral framework, including G7 and G20 and United Nations. So we have been cooperating very closely with the United States through these platforms. We are going to continue to have a close communication with the United States and other countries so that we'll be able to continue to play an active role. At this point in time, as I said earlier, the U.S. government is in the process of assessment. The memorandum of cooperation that you mentioned, at this point in time, I cannot make any prejudged response, including MOC as well. The U.S. has been making a big contribution to foreign aid through USAID. Therefore, Japan will continue to cooperate with various countries, including the United States. With that in mind, we would like to continue our efforts on our part. Also, regarding pandemic treaty that you asked about, pandemic treaty negotiation, Japan, in order to prevent and prepare for and respond to the pandemic. For that purpose, the international cooperation and instrument would be very important. Therefore, we are going to continue to participate in the negotiation for the treaty. Also, universal health coverage, knowledge hub. Establishment of this hub, I understand the coordination is underway for the purpose of establishing this. However, MHLW and the Ministry of Finance are the main players in this regard, so please ask the question to those ministries. Did I answer your questions, all the questions? Did you have one more question? And please come to the microphone once again. From the USAID, the funding was provided to Global Health and Human Security Operating Committee, or JCIE, Japan Center for International Exchange. Is there any fact that funding was flowing into these organizations? We are not aware of each and every case of funding flow. IWJ. Thank you. IWJ Hamamoto is my name. Regarding Ukraine policy, I have a question. After the inauguration of Trump administration, Ukraine policy of the United States has shifted from the continuation of war to ceasefire. Prime Minister Ishiba in the G7 summit meeting on the 24th said that Japan is going to continue to provide support to Ukraine and continue a sanction against Russia in cooperation with the G8. And 1.8 trillion yen of the support has been provided. And in the United States, Elon Musk, the Ukraine budget is very present in the Senate budget is because there is a kickback from the Ukraine. And therefore, it seems to me there is a major shift of policy on the part of U.S. And also, there is a growing move to dismantle the foreign the treasury. And there is a lot of complaints, and in Japan too, that Japanese money should be used for the purpose of Japanese people. What do you think?
No. The response to the Ukraine invasion by Russia, concerning that, we believe that Europe and the security in the Indo-Pacific should not be separated. So this unilateral attempt to alter the status quo by force, regardless of whether it is in the world, it should not be tolerated. We have a strong sense of caution, and we have been dealing with this issue as if it was our own issue. So based on this kind of thinking, as you have just said, until now for humanitarian fiscal recovery, reconstruction, a total of more than $12 billion of assistance has been expressed, and this has been steadily implemented. Right now, concerning the Ukrainians in the international society, there are many movements, developments. But we know that, however, we will focus our attention on these movements, and we will closely collaborate with G7 and the international society, and we will continue our assistance to the Ukrainians. And now, concerning the assistance to the Ukrainians, inclusive of this, and concerning our various diplomatic policies, in order to gain the understanding of the general public, we have continued to make efforts to explain the significance. Inclusive of this press conference, we have taken many opportunities to try to explain, and we will continue with these efforts. Last question, Kyodo-tsushin, Sakaguchi-san, please. Sakaguchi from Kyodo-tsushin. Concerning the Japanese diet. Well, today, earlier on, the Prime Minister said that there's going to be a review of the high-cost medical cost. I'm sure this is out of your jurisdiction, but the government's policy to review traditional policy, I think it is a very heavy decision. It requires political decision. And I think you have been struggling as a minority governing party, and I'm sure you have been looking at this as well. So how do you view this Prime Minister's decision? And what kind of struggles did you see? We would like to hear your views, please.
Regarding that point, this is outside of the scope of our responsibility. Therefore, I am not fully aware of details of that issue. But we are minority government in this environment. There should be a full communication and discussion between the governing and opposition parties to reach a consensus to craft good policies. The question you raised regarding high-cost medical expenses, on that matter as well, through such discussion, one direction has been put forth. That is my view. This concludes the press conference. Thank you.